Very few people knew what to expect from the unassuming intellectual when Professor Suleiman Elias Bogoro was appointed the Executive Secretary of the Tertiary Education Trust Fund in 2014 by former President Goodluck Jonathan. What many didn't realize is that with that singular act, a revolution had begun for Nigeria's tertiary education that would involve and affect Nigeria's industry and promise a paradigm shift to a knowledge-based economy. Professor Bogoro, a prolific researcher with numerous publications in international and local journals, analyzed the long-running struggle that Nigeria had with sustainable development and was quick to discover that much of it had to do with the fact that every nation needs to industrialize in order to grow, and growth can only come from research and development, which births innovation. He very quickly became known as the apostle of R&D.
If we institutionalize R&D in Nigeria, let me tell you, it will be a guaranteed avenue. In fact, the foundation, National R&D Foundation, my dream there is, look, let's have an institution in this country supported by law. The National Assembly makes the law. And it is there that some silent sources of funding that had never been considered will be brought together. You'll be surprised how much billions will be available to support research for both undergraduate, postgraduate, postdoc, bench work within and beyond this country, as well as research that will solve problems of technology, of economy, and of nation. We have insecurity staring us in the face. If it continues this way, very soon we can't do anything because we'll be challenged by insecurity. We are looking forward to that, and we hope that if we are able to get it right, I tell you one thing, for instance, the hostel matter I talked about, if we are able to provide hostels, some of them directly from TETFund, some maybe some other federal government, Mr. President could decide tomorrow, look, let CBN make available special intervention for building of hostels for our universities, polytechnic, college of education. If these students are living in more conducive atmosphere, there will be less issues of distraction. A situation where students are living with criminals, call it anything, negative. They cannot concentrate on their studies. These are some of the things, but more important, like I said, if we have good hostels that are respectable, foreign students will come. It will be a foreign honor for this country and for our educational institutions. And particularly if we hope that even the appropriation funding may improve to continue to attract the best of faculty and retain them. And we are supporting research. In other climes, the most ranked universities, like I said, it is faculty. And the research grants they hold. Professors are rated for the numbers of research grants they hold, rather than just the numbers of publications. Take this from me. And that is something that we need to change. We need to see more of professors holding the most respected grants, not just any grant, the most respected grants, with outcomes that are solving problems, I said, of technology, of economy, and of nation. If we get to that stage, I can assure you, and all other things required, those other basic facilities, the physical one are met, you have strong faculty, you have, at the moment when they close our borders, we are still debating whether our international airports will be open. But about a month ago, somebody came to tell us the story of a surgery where 3 Nigerian surgeons in a teaching hospital did an unbelievable 11-hour surgery and saved the life of a woman that the family had literally given up. Ordinarily at that time, they would say, rush them to India, London, Dubai, Germany. Why shouldn't be when we have the capacity? If the facilities are there and we are incentivizing the very best amongst us.
Even though his tenure was interrupted in 2016, the saga did nothing to dim his vision or determination to accomplish. After being reinstated by President Muhammadu Buhari in 2019, Professor Bogoro deepened his impact on Nigeria's universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education by establishing the Department of Research and Development and Centers of Excellence as an integral part of TETFund. He set up his team and entrusted the responsibility of stewarding the R&D department to Dr. Saliu Bakari Gire.
It's about application of research findings to solve problems of any nation, country, society, or generally people. So it's about application of research findings, carrying out applied research to solve a problem that confronts a nation, or that confronts you, that challenges development. In other words, research and development is about investing wisely in the field of applied research to solve a problem. Normal research is what you call basic research, especially in academics. People carry out research for research sake. You know, they carry out research to test their intellectual strength, if you like, and then publish, communicate with their colleagues in the academic world. They carry out the research, they publish it, and they shelve it, and that's all. At the end of the day, they are doing research for research sake. Applied research is about research to solve a problem, research for development's sake, if you like. You carry out research with the aim of solving a particular problem. Today we are in COVID-19 pandemic, and you can see the whole world is scrambling, looking for scientists to say, let's understand even what this COVID-19 is, and then how does it work, rather how does it spread, whether its real effects. So it's the responsibility of researchers to really look into this problem, carry out research that can really come out with solutions to these problems. This is what we mean by research and development. You are carrying out research, you know, solve a particular problem, be it social, be it technological, be it economic, be it scientific, whatever the problem is. The aim is to solve a problem. You are going to invest money. You are not just spending money to carry out research for research sake.
For you to say you want to go into actual business across the world, part of the research you need to actually conduct is your market analysis. You need to understand your environment. You need to do impact assessment when it's a big project, and all of these are studies. So for people, they thought when it's talking about R&D, it's only talking to the university community, which is the primary constituency of TETFund, but by implication, it's going to radiate across the country. That is going to be on the research arm. Before you can say you want to have sustainable development, you say that a lot of organizations in this country have their research departments abroad. That is going to be part of the paradigm that needs to change. If you are working in the banking sector, you are in the petroleum sector, you are in agricultural sector, we want a situation that where you have your own research department in every organization, no matter how little. So that is going to continuously be putting you on track, and for you to know that, oh, these are emerging issues, I need to probe it. That is the kind of things that the ES of TETFund is looking at on the long run. So, but in the immediate, you need to start with your primary constituency. That's why I want to look at what's going on in the university system. Is it that we still want to continue to be writing theses, and they are going to be on the shelf, and they are now commercializable? And we actually know that every year in, year out, people are using resources. The student and the facility in the university, college of education, are being used to carry out some research. Are we going to continuously be leaving them on the shelf? So what kind of research? Are they empirical research? Are they just a research for just doing research sake because we want to get certificate? Or do we need to move on to say, okay, we can cascade this research and actually dimension them to problem-solving research that's going to give us output that can be useful at national and international level.
Development based on export promotion.
TETFund, led by Professor Bogoro, made several promises of pivotal moments that would revolutionize tertiary education and ultimately lead to an industrialized economy for the nation. Applying the triple helix method, which integrates the academia, industry, and government, TETFund created 3 essential tools. The first is the Standing Committee on R&D, which would evolve into the second tool, which is the R&D Foundation. The third tool is the TETFund Centers of Excellence. The 23rd of September 2020 was a very special day for TETFund. Following meticulous planning and effort, TETFund successfully inaugurated a 162-member standing committee on R&D.
On behalf of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, General Muhammad Buhari, GCFR, the Ministry of Education, and the Board of Trustees of the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, I hereby inaugurate the Standing Committee of National Board for Research and Development.
In his remarks during the ceremony, the TETFund boss said the committee was designed to ensure a paradigm shift to applied research for development in the country. He said the committee would be focusing on 13 thematic areas, including agriculture, information communication technology, and digital economy, engineering, defense and military, and energy. Other areas are environment and bioresources, medicine, pharmaceuticals, petroleum, industrialization, infrastructure development, and governance, social development, and internal security.
Let me quote Mr. President very recently. He said, "My administration will take concrete actions to correct the neglect of research, science, and technology by past government. My administration will dedicate more resources and energy to the sector because no country could make progress without serious commitment to development of science and technology." Honorable Minister of Education, Chairman of the Board of Trustees, Chairman and distinguished members of this great committee, ladies and gentlemen, Research and Development Standing Committee members, that we are about to inaugurate is an epoch event in the annals of R&D in our country. May I congratulate you, Honorable Minister, eminent members of the committee, and the supporting technical coordination team for writing your names in gold on the flag of R&D in Nigeria. History will not forget you, and posterity will not forsake you. May it be said soon that today's historic event is a veritable watershed in changing the narrative and especially the relationship and indeed new marriage between the academia and industry, so that the research community will be seen to have tied a bond that will outlive all of us.
This committee is a very large committee. It's over 160 highly distinguished members. And as a large committee, our objective is to develop research and development for TETFund, but actually is a national assignment. And research and development is a very, very important area of undertaking. For example, if you talk about what is the effect of research and development on the development of knowledge economy in the world, then you would know that there is no country that has succeeded in its economic development without the backup of research and development. For example, Singapore, they have very, very serious research and development. Research for development, specific. They zero in on certain areas, and they do a lot of research in those areas to back up the specific development for the economy of that area. So research and development is very, very important. And in fact, I would say that TETFund is and an agency of Minister of Education, but TETFund has been most successful in terms of assisting universities to have the kind of infrastructure that will enhance educational development. Without the TETFund, I don't think most of the federal universities can exist, because when you require, for example, very expensive laboratories, then TETFund is the only source that can do that for the universities. Allocation to universities cannot really, capital allocation cannot take care of that. So surprisingly, it is the same TETFund that said, what is happening in this country? Let us have very sound research undertakings. But that's not enough. For national development, you must have very strong research and development, not only just research and development, but foundation to be able to sustain information to back up the research priorities.
The committee is comprised of prominent Nigerians from various sectors of the economy, some of the most brilliant minds that Nigeria has to offer. Less than 2 months after this historic event, TETFund increased its momentum by presenting takeoff funds for the pioneering 12 centers of excellence spread across 6 geopolitical zones of the country, which were approved by President Muhammadu Buhari in May of 2020. The first set of institutions, which will focus on research in science-based disciplines, will be hosted by first, second, and third generation federal universities. A Center of Excellence, or COE, is a team, a shared facility, or an entity that provides leadership, best practices, research, support, and or training for a focus area. In academic institutions, a Center of Excellence often refers to a team with a clear focus on a particular area of research. Beyond its unique capabilities, such a center may proceed to further bring together faculty members from different disciplines and provide shared facilities. The universities which were chosen as Pioneer Centers of Excellence are as follows.
I do not believe there is anyone in this room today that is unaware of how dear to my heart this burning issue is. Let me once again proclaim the inescapable and universal doctrine that one has since garnered ardent adherents in the world's most successful knowledge economies, that there is but one truth to socio-economic and technological advancement. It is in R&D. And the 12 new TCOEs, 2 in each geopolitical zone of Nigeria, which we are to fund for 5 years, starting from today, with a grant of 1 billion naira each, will be at the heart of the mechanism for the attainment of our nation's aspirations.
The Director, Physical Infrastructure Development of TETFund, Buhari Mikailu, said in a statement that those in state universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education will follow in subsequent years. TETFund is not mincing words and has taken bold steps in its new direction. If you're not investing in research and development, you will fall behind. Why? Because competition in the digital age is fierce. This typically means that you'll need to achieve performance levels that are higher and higher to meet evolving competition, threats, and opportunities. Managing R&D activities is a major factor in producing future growth, with many countries recognizing this by opening R&D centers for companies to use as resources. Now that we have reassessed the journey so far, the next 2 episodes of The Paradigm Shift will take a closer look at these pioneer centers of excellence. Who are they? Why were they chosen? What areas were assigned for them to focus on? And what can they bring to the table of the paradigm shift?